Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I'm Jaganduna. I lead ABM and GTM at Innominds, and I'm pleased to introduce our speaker, Dan Anamitra, Senior Director of Data Engineering and Analytics at Innominds. Dan is a passionate leader in AI and data transformation with deep expertise in generative AI, data productization, and intelligent platforms. He has guided enterprises across CPG, banking, retail, and healthcare to modernize their data foundations, scale AI initiatives, and achieve measurable outcomes. Today, he'll be presenting on From Motley Data to AI Direction, Engineering the Backbone for Enterprise Intelligence. Please join me in welcoming Dan. Over to you, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining in, and a very good morning, afternoon, evening from wherever you are. And like my colleague Jagan said, I come from the background of data and AI, and here I'm today to take you through one of the journeys which you may love to get into on Motley Data. And that's a new coinage and one of those terms which comes in where you are able to go ahead and say, hey, things have been very different with respect to the data pattern you've seen over the last few years, but what is this coming to as we navigate forward, right? More of a futuristic journey. Let's see if you like it. Give me your feedback. If you have any questions, please put it up in the chat, and at the end of the conversation, I'll try to take it across, right? Thank you again. So what is obvious data world in front of us? Look at that. You have a data which you have understood as structured, which was mostly around 15% of the journey. A bit of semi-structured, that was around 5% of your data journeys. And semi-structured typically consisted of various types of middle ground data. And next one was mostly unstructured, and that was 80% of our journey, right? All generated from text, documents, video, images, social media, and more. Now, this is where we stand. And I am taking you to the next world of what I call as Motley data, because it's important for you to understand that data patterns are changing, data types are changing, and the way you are going to go ahead is going to change, right? Okay, so here you go. Are you able to see it? Is there? Okay, I think there is an error here. Can I just pre-correct this? Are you able to see two images? Some issue? Give me a moment. It's good? Okay, great. Okay, so this is my Motley Club. Now, when you look at this Motley Club, I have this image in front of me, many different types of data, which is what I represent. And you see some of them turning faces at each other, from each other. That's what data has practically become. A PDF scan of handwritten notes from one hospital, a spreadsheet of lab results from another, a few diagnostic images on a CD, and then the email of a patient's insurance provider. That's Motley data. Also termed as data silo in some organization terms with respect to parlance. Or look at another way around. You look at a picture of a retailer, transactions on paper receipts, loyalty card swipes, online click streams. How do you get the feedback in tweets, again, all collated together? We live in this world which is drowning in information, but it's scattered, noisy, fragmented. And that's where the decisions are getting fragmented. And AI does not live there, right? AI lives on a much more cleaner world, a much more structural, contextual data. Without it, you'll find the hallucinations, you'll find the errors, and sometimes dangerous outcomes. So today, I'm going to take you through a data which is not just structured, meaningful, but how to move from the chaos to the intelligence of AI direction. Hope that helps. Let's keep it practical and not academic. And I'm going to move you through some of the use cases which are private to our organization, share them with you, and then obviously take your feedback as we move forward, right? Now that's where I call the newer data type. You saw a flick of it during this glitch which happened. I call this data type as multimodal lions. Multimodal because it can take all the areas which are multiple blends. But remember, traditional AI handle only one type of input at a time. Lions are able to thrive on blending sight, vision models, speech models, and I call it the next level of language models, which is text LLMs, into one powerful roar. And let's talk about that ecosystem on domain dominance in data balance. Okay, I've been doing this analogy. I hope you like it. While we have taken this kind of effort to get you into a picture so that you understand this is what actually it means from multimodal data perspective. But when you relate it to healthcare, you can look at multiple images, MRI images, patient records, for example, or autonomous vehicles. You're looking at cameras, LiDAR, gives you the real-time safety decisions. So that's where you can take a quick look at what we are looking at. Multimodal lions, not just they are louder, they are smarter hunters of actionable insights. Let's go to the next one. I call this as my IoT elephants, and there's a reason for it, And this is the concept of giant streaming memory. Look at that comparison with respect to elephant. And another data metaphor, let me bring it to the front. Similar to IoT data streams, elephants like huge social and remember everything, right? And that's where the herd effect comes in. Millions of IoT sensors, that's a massive continuous herd of data. Isn't that right? And we are not going to rest in this analogy. Let's look at some of the case studies, and we'll come into a case study later on. But immediately what comes to my mind is wearables. A ton of data of, say, vitals, chronic disease, a ton of data from machine vibrations, all of it come together. Innominds has specific solutions for it, and we'll come to it as we go forward into the journey. I'm getting into a bit more of technicals here. Let's look at how it actually matters, right? How do you achieve data velocity with IoT? The stream processing, Kafka, Spark structured streaming, the storage with edge caching, the cloud lakehouse, and AI finally with that online learning and anomaly detection. That gives me the final message. You are in a hands of that particular force, which I can call it as the IoT elephants. And they are not just tame. They are in a herd with a proper data foundation of infrastructure, or you risk get trampled by data overload, right? I'll go to the next one, which is another analogy. I call it genomic tigers, right? This is primarily from the perspective that tigers stalk prey with precision, right? And like genomic tigers, data is capable of targeting diseases, even at the DNA level. While we may not have reached up to that stage, but at every person's genome, you get a unique pattern, like what you call a tiger stripe. And therefore, this analogy holds good with the help of data in action for drug discovery, for predicting cancer risks, and we'll have some use cases which are coming up next, okay? To sum it up, a key message: the genomic tigers are powerful, but must be handled with ethics and privacy both, and what we call as responsibility, and therefore the concept of responsible AI, I would like to seed here and move around. So with the next one, let's get into a small customer case study, okay? I know, let's make it practical is what I said, and going by the customer's case study, I want to take you to a customer who wanted to build a virtual building assistant. What you see on the left-hand side, and I'm sure I'll take you to the solution picture, which is not so visible in the next slide, but let me give you a picture of what the customer wanted to build. This was for a construction company, okay? And the customer was a trusted partner who takes the guesswork out of the decision making. They wanted complexity to be turned into clarity. And construction projects are full of high stakes of choices, right? So from design trade-offs, scheduling conflicts, material selection, workforce allocation, these decisions all rely on fragmented data, siloed expertise, or gutting stint. That leads to costly delays, rework, overruns. We are all aware of it. And this customer wanted to change that. What is the intelligent assistant going to do? This intelligent assistant is going to centralize the project intelligence by unifying design with engineering, IoT sensor data, budgets, timelines into one actionable hub. So it guides essentially the smarter decisions, right? By analyzing risks, highlighting dependencies, and providing data-backed recommendations. Now, there's one other part of it which comes in. It learns continuously from the outcomes and industry benchmarks. That's how it drives collaboration by presenting insights in a clear conversational language. This has aspects of both AI/ML, DevOps, backend engineering, data lifecycle management. And with that, let me take a bit of dipstick into that architecture which you see so that you can get a firmer view of it. I call it multimodal because it has all those areas from IoT to mails to PDFs, and BIM was used here. If you have looked closely at the whole architecture, this has the ingestion framework, this has the framework with respect to the Lambda functions, the EMR functions, and the Azure functions of both Bedrock as well as the areas where we are using Azure, the areas of AWS functions of both Bedrock as well as how you ingest the data into it. With this multiple areas where backend engineering, AI/ML, data science, UI development, DevOps, QA services all got together, and we use the technologies with Python, Postgres, Pandas, TextRack, S3, Postgres, also with InSync with Lambda, React, Material, Elasticsearch, Grafana. That's where the solution coverage happened from platform development, including setting up of data pipelines, MLOps, AI/ML baseline references, and we went into the EKS cluster, the Terraform-based infrastructure, a kind of a complete multimodal package in front of you. And therefore, I have quoted the lion picture again, where I call the multimodal lion as one of the key aspects here, right? Okay, with that, I'll go a bit forward into what we talk as AI direction, right? And folks, maybe you'll have your questions coming up. I'll take them up by and by. But let's look at how we create AI direction with the help of the data types which we talked about, right? More case studies coming up, so be with us before we get into a bit more areas which I think is more relevant. So I talked about the part of where AI is important for data and how data gets created for AI, but how do you take that AI value chain? We know about the chaotic part of the raw data, right? You just don't get into the raw data directly. I say that raw data, with the help of all those elements which are from spreadsheets, PDFs, IoT, emails, are chaotic. You have organized data which is clean and cataloged and governed. But most important part in red is how you really enrich the data with context and make it AI ready. Now here's the problem. Most of the organizations still believe that raw data is going to make a lot of sense, and it's not entirely wrong. But to go from raw to AI, it's like trying to bake a cake without the cracking the eggs or mixing the flours, as I say, right? Or turning on the oven. So what is the outcome? A mess. And that's where the value chain we talk about is Motley's first. Motley's first, and then order, and then the context, and then the direction will possibly come in. So how many of you may have seen AI pilots fail because the data wasn't ready? Well, I think the tune is around 80%, right? With that, let me go to the next part, which is more around how I use data trust as AI fuel. Now, you know that you have the blueprint in front of you. I won't go to the blueprint. Many of you are approached this blueprint with the help of a design framework, the operational processes, which are so important for any data quality area. But look at data modernization as a kitchen, right? And quality as its ingredients. And that has been an analogy for quite some time. Data quality dimensions of completeness, accuracy, timelines, consistency, all of it, including lineage. So, and that's where you trace back where the data came from. And you get into the observability part at the next, as you look at pod monitoring pipelines, like we monitor the servers, all of it, including compliance and privacy, are the part which gets you into the AI fuel. And we firmly believe in this. We'll take you to the next step of a case study, and maybe a slide down the line. But giving you before that is what is data to AI direction from our organization, right? Innominds. Generative AI is on the forefront, as you see. Edge AI, as you will see in one of the use cases, are going to bring a part of the device strategy, the device AI strategy. We believe in synthetic data. We believe in applied AI. We take from not just the actual constituents, but to pilot and POCs to production ready systems, right? But here's the fun twist. AI isn't just about maths, statistics, or programming. It's about creativity. That's where we use the concept of design thinking to reframe the data problems. We don't ask what model do we have to use. We ask what problems do we solve for a human interface or a human being who is coming up with a problem statement. And that's organizations telling us that we believe you for that, right? So suggesting the use of copilots also as one of the key areas, but most important, move beyond static dashboard, knowledge graphs, and conventional AI interfaces are being represented by conversational AI interfaces now. So what is the analogy I wanted to draw here is Motley data is like a specie mice, that spice box you have, right? And AI direction is a perfect recipe. The chef isn't replaced. But you are empowered to cook better, faster, and tastier. With that, let me jump into some elements of case studies which we have here. These are some of our customer case studies, and I'll take you through this journey. And I know we are down by around 20 minutes. I should wrap it up by another 10 minutes or so. And post that, we can have a demo if you like, or we can take question answers. Okay, so let me take you to the IoT. Remember the elephants and the IoT? I want to present to you one of our interfaces which you see in front of us. This is an interface which gives you a view of what IoT edge-based systems we have in Innominds, right? And what you see in front of us is a larger device which has elements which is more with respect to getting the data orchestrated in the form of an edge. And then we'll get into the next part, which is a solution, which gives you a view of what is the structure of the solution architecture. This is based on Azure. And we have the whole system getting connected to IoT hub. And from there, we do the streaming, processing. And from there, we take it to a system which is more from the perspective of either Azure or Databricks as a technology, and give you all those elements which are coming out from a typical solution like this, right? Let me take you through another use case which we have on the ground, right? This is more from the perspective of what I can call as taking your data to an AI-powered content automation. The particular client, if you see here, is going to be of value from perspective that they have used both LangChain with RAG, OpenAI, Python, FastAPI, but it all depended upon the data which we cultivated for them, right? And their business need was with respect to automating their content creation, the review and validation to ensure accuracy, compliance, right? We went into the enhancing the tone consistency, and that's where the multimodal point came in here too, where content scoring system improved the patient engagement and the education both together, right? Now, let's get to the architecture part of it. While Innominds as an organization, we are very comprehensive, work closely with customer. This was more of a GenAI powered platform tailored for content automation, right? Which I mentioned, and it starts with the AI-driven content generation, automatically creating structured educational content, ensuring clarity and compliance. The tone rephrasing and brand alignment was done with AI models, refining content across multiple platforms, maintaining consistency. The reference validation and content scoring was done to ensure factual accuracy, and that prioritizes the high quality of content generation which happened. The last but not the least, the translation and localization, which means it was integrated with the SmartCat API for a customer interface, and for seamless multi-language content adoption. With this, the last part comes in, which is more from the RAG, where we leverage the existing content for creating context-aware AI-driven outputs. And with that, I think you have a fair view of the architecture which is there. But if you have any questions on this and you want to replicate it, you can reach out to us based on the coordinates that you already have, right? I'll move on to the next case study, or a series of case study which we have here. And this is more from across the value chain. We do participate very closely on GenAI based drug discovery. You remember our tiger there, right? And that's where you talk about the de novo synthesis, the clinical trial assistance that we do, considering that we have data synchronization as a prime element, the platform development as a prime element for RP and AI ML, and insights from unstructured and structured data being the driving force of the R&D, which we have as a cross value case study here. We have manufacturing supply based content generation, where we have smart lab creation, where passwordless, contactless, and then Pharma 4.0 framework, which has been integrated as a part of the value chain. Last but not the least in this particular slide is more from the sales and marketing perspective. You see the digital therapeutics, the DTX, mobile apps, advanced analytics, and evidence-based interventions as a key portfolio for sales and marketing, where you help the customer unlock the data-driven insights to improve the care and outcomes. This is one solution which uses NLP more from the perspective of segments, channels, and geographies, right? With that, I'll move to the next one, which gives you a larger view of what data modernization foundations are we looking at. Your picture in front of you has all those Motley data on the right. And this is getting practical because, like I said, I'm going to show you something which we really apply and make it as a meaningful data modernization. You see the architectural shift happening here. The traditional warehouses, which we know, they can't handle today's mix of structured, unstructured, and Motley data. That's why we firmly believe in lakehouses, and delta patterns, iceberg, hoodie are the key elements which are critical there. That's where the unified logs, text, images, and transactions all come in vogue. Now, metadata management is becoming not an easy task either, right? Without metadata, you don't know the origin, quality, or ownership. So metadata is like that nutrition label on food, or the AI models, if they interpret it wrongly, it goes for a toss, right? With that, I go to the next part, which is moving metadata. Remember, metadata created by AI has become moving metadata, which we need to actually take care in a way where we understand metadata management is taking the next height. Go to data mesh. Instead of one monolithic system, we treat data as a product. That's where you see the data domains coming up in some of the use cases, which I'll try to cover, and APIs and real-time pipelines, having the data flow sitting there and avoiding data silo. Another view of the architecture, I know this is primarily based on one technology area, but another view of architecture is similar. These data modernization foundations are the ones which we are able to take forward as a part of the story. So with that, I'll take a pit stop at who we are. I started into this whole journey together, but as Innominds, let's take a dipstick into who we are, right? How is it possible that we are able to give this Motley data experience? That's because we have the two ends of the circles, or the semicircles, closely tied up together with data. The product development, which we have on the left-hand side, and you are able to see our areas of focus, right from technology modernization to sustenance support, modern data platform, product engineering, to the right-hand side, which you see around AI-powered quality engineering, cloud solutions, enterprise security, and enterprise AI. They all thrive on data. And you would agree that this is where we see the next level of competency of Motley data coming up. Some of our sample customers, and you see the larger names over there, right from NVIDIA to Convatec to Trimble, Caterpillar, Oshkosh, Qualcomm, DataStax, Microsoft, AWS, Splunk. We work with all of them. Okay, so with that, I'll take you to our next part of the journey, a bit deeper into what we have to offer to you, right? You see these 7 quadrants and the 7 value adds together, from data analytics advisory to data management, core data engineering services, data governance automation, BI, obviously infused with AI, data products with AI ML, infused with the whole journey, and DataOps and MLOps being the comprehensive portfolio of suits which we have here. And I will take you through the last part, which is more on how we choose our expertise in data platform. And it includes analytics also, by the way. And I'm starting from the right-hand side, where we really get into modernization of legacy data estates, right? And that means you scale warehouses, you build intelligent data pipelines, and on the left-hand side, you get into product-grade engineering at scale, because we have that expertise with us, where we go into operationalizing big data platforms along with engineering high-volume platforms for even NoSQL, right? Now, generative AI cannot be far away, and I wanted to give you a sneak preview of some of the good work we have done on generative AI. Conversational BI is in vogue, and I won't go much into it, but look at it when Gartner predicted synthetic data generation 2-3 years back being the backbone of some of the services. That's what we specialize on. We create privacy safe, we create de-identification of de-identified PII data, and we ensure that these are with reduced bias, and we are able to get this model improvement in place, right? More important, on the metadata management, you have smart tagging, discoverability as key areas, automated lineage and impact analysis as classified areas of our metadata management program, which we have actually applied for customers. If you want to need more or need more details around it, feel free to get in touch with us. On ETL automation, one of the key areas which we are taking forward is how we can take the natural language driven pipeline generation as a part of this story. And with that, we accelerate our data integration forward, right? As I said, I won't take more than 30 minutes here, but just to do a closing, our transformation journey continues, right? The data of yesterday, which you saw, and the data of tomorrow both get coalesced as a part of our transformation journey, which we are taking at Innominds. With that, our empowering message is that we are going to do GenAI, automation with data, IoT and digital product engineering services all together. Any questions to take up? Over to you all. Or if there are any questions on the chat, I can take that up. Sanjeev, yes, over to you.
Hey Dan, how are you? Thanks. Yeah, I finally got access to the microphone. Thank you. I thought the content was quite relevant at a very high level, trying to give us an idea how to think about data in the world of AI. My question is mostly, I'm curious about your experience about the quality of data, and how would you recommend that we as a company, when we approach customers, how do you recommend we approach helping our customers clean up the quality of their data? In my experience, I would say 9 out of 10 conversations I have with potential customers, they worry that the quality of data is simply not there, and the running joke in the world of AI is garbage in, garbage out. So I'm just curious what your experience has been, and what can you recommend in terms of how we can approach services or offer services to potential customers to clean up the quality of their data?
I hope I'm audible and visible, both.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So this is very apt question which comes up from the perspective of the blueprint which I showed, right? And going back by the blueprint, one of the key areas which I see which comes up to me is how you are going to use overall quality as an area of focus from the perspective of start with the data as a design framework. And what I advise my customer is you should look at data sources which run data profiling and is able to scan through that result with the help of a quality framework. The next part, which I usually tell them, is being operationally relevant, because setting up data quality rules is not just the one part of it. What it really means is to configure and have regular scans on the data quality part together along with the data quality rules. And data quality rules have to be really tied up with the business rules, which we are talking about as of today. And third most important part, I think, is to take the user feedback. The quality actions you have taken, the reviewing actions have been taken, but for doing a continuous improvement, there has to be a scan results. So using a quality-based tool is also something we recommend as relevant. And there are multiple quality setting tools which are there, which gives you alerting notifications of quality issues, will give you the approach for assigning users, stewards, registering data sources, all of it put together. That's also an automated approach which I recommend. So these are 3 or 4 pronged approaches which I would say will help Sanjeev in this case.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I was curious, Dan, in your learnings about the Innominds offerings. Do you see any such offering we can package for our customers and say, hey, you know what, if you come across a situation where we need to address the quality of data, here's something we can offer them out of the box?
Oh yes, in fact, this is one of the clear areas which we are taking as a focus. And I would say, from my customer's perspective, in case some of you are there and yes, listening, one of the key areas which comes up importantly in front of my mind is how we can get lineage-based, generative AI infused approach which we can bring for the customer. That will give the trick of the trade in hands of how you can make it more automated, more oriented towards a new age Motley solution which we are looking at, and gives the AI direction also at the same time to quality. Hope that helps, Sanjeev.
Yes, you have. Thanks, Dan.
And we stay connected, and let's discuss this further.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just scanning the chat if there are any other questions. Okay, there's a question from Sakit. What are the key considerations when aligning ingestion, processing, and intelligence layers in a modern data stack? Well, this is a very, one of those questions which I face every other day. When you are aligning a data stack, most important is, like I said, is to think about the AI value chain right from the first scale itself. How you really deliver those scalable data infra solutions across complex multi-product ecosystem with the help of the raw and then to organized will give you the intelligent data. Now, the most important part of this intelligent data is it has to be contextual. So we really recommend data products, data marts as a story along with business to make it more contextual from not just business perspective, but also from the perspective of CDAO and CDAIO. I hope that answers. Okay, and there's a question from Nicholas. How do you go about setting the monitors for tracking supply chains? And do you assist in the transportation of drugs and medicine? Nicholas, we take that as an input, and I am going to ensure that we come back to you because this is a larger point of which we can get into. And with this input, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to you in some way where we are able to get more details into the supply chain part of our logistics. We do have some solutions which can possibly be resonating with you. Okay. Any other questions from the team, or if you feel free, reach out to me. I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm available as a part of this group. They will get back to me once you're able to give me a ping through the channels which are already established. happy to be of some assistance with respect to your Motley data journey. Thank you so much again. If there's nothing else, then we can call it a day, and you have a great evening, morning, or afternoon ahead. Take care. Bye.